In Your Business is a presentation of RareGem Productions, hosted on the Business Mind and Money Network of OneRareGem.com. Visit OneRareGem.com. Highlighting young professionals who are making things happen in their communities. The movers and shakers with bold passion, creative ideas, and big visions. In Your Business with your host, Reagan Johnson.
Welcome to In Your Business, the show that highlights young professionals who are making things happen. I'm your host, Reagan Johnson, and today I have with me a man whose reputation precedes him. He is a motivational speaker, he's an author, he's an entrepreneur, he even has his own day. March 21st is Koran Bolden Day.
Why did you have to put me out there like that?
Oh, we got to celebrate. The people have to know so they can celebrate on March 21st.
I'll take the celebration. Let's go.
All right, please help me welcome Mr. Bolden to the studio. How are you?
Oh, thank you for the round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Well, I got a smile on my face. That's good, right?
He even brings his own audience, his own fan club.
My own traveling audience. Nope, I got that trademark now, y'all. Don't know nobody copy me on that. Got my own traveling audience with me, right?
All right, so tell the people about what you do.
Well, I do a lot of things, but I guess just the main three things that I do. I'm a motivational speaker, I'm an author and entrepreneur, and I go in our community and I build our people up instead of tearing them down. And one thing I would call myself as far as like trailblazing leader of what something I think that we need in our community is that most of the time when you think about a leader, you think about somebody who has followers, but there are people out in the world that you're following that's going absolutely nowhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I believe in today's economy, in business, in today's community, we need leaders that are very intentional and leaders that are not just having followers, not just having fame, not just having popularity, but we need leaders that are actually intentionally leading people to places of success, of prosperity, good thinking, good health, good, wealth. And that comes from you putting yourself in a place to make people make decisions. Mm-hmm. The day of not making people make decisions is over. And I believe that if we really want to move forward, if you're a really good leader, you'll make people make decisions, whether controversy comes up. Hey, which way are you going? Are you going to go left or are you going to go right? If you're going left with me, let's go. If we're going right with me, let's go. But for you to be around me and we're not going anywhere, those days are over with. And so I guess that's what I really bring to the table in, anything that I do out in the community.
So what are your businesses?
The first business that I owned was Street Dreams Recording Studio. It was a recording studio that I opened out at the St. Louis Mills Mall. Almost 5 years. We've been in business for almost 5 years. And this was a recording studio. I had a record deal with Def Jam a few years back, and I always wanted to give back to our kids and be able to show them how you can challenge yourself in hip-hop by making messages that, are clean, that restricted the students from using profanity in their music. And, that was something that I started. I wanted to show them business principles. How do you just make, it's just not about you making music, but how do you actually make the music, but then also handle your business. And so that was the first business that I opened up. The second one that I'm working on right now is a Koran Bolden / Dream Success Worldwide. And that's where I'm actually going out to the community and actually equipping students, meeting them right where they're at inside their schools with motivational speaking. We do school programming, and also we're working on satellite locations where we're putting the Street Dreams recording studios inside of schools. And we have a partnership with Banana Republic that are going to come in, teach kids how to dress for success, and also hire some of these students over the summer if they complete through our program. So that's been a great thing that I got going on, right?
Very cool. Yeah. And the youth need it. So tell me, how did you develop such a passion for youth, and why do you think that you're so successfully able to connect with them?
I listen. I think a lot of times in the community, nobody really listens to them. They try to talk to their mind instead of like reaching and grabbing their heart. And that's one of the things that I do. And I add fun in everything that I'm doing. So if you're going to give our youth messages, it got to be fun. It has to be an experience attached along with that. And so I've been very intentional on making sure that every student has an experience with me. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the secrets to success. Also having results, because students are tired of whether they're going to church or whether they're going to, some after school program. They're tired of seeing their mentors or people that's trying to lead them that's not getting results. They're tired of talking about faith, and then you have no actions that produce your own results. And so I've been very intentional about that, and I also help them make decisions. Hey, which way do you want to go? If you feel like that this program is not going to benefit you, I'm going to be here for you all the way 100 to the end. I'm going to plant these seeds in you. But one thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to baby you. And I think they respect me for that. Like, I'm not going to baby you. You want to be an adult. Most of them technically aren't adults age-wise, but some of these kids are raising their whole household. So they have an adult mentality with a youthful age. And so what I do is I treat them like a youth, but I also talk to them at the place they're at, and they're going through a lot of things. And so I just try to reach their heart and also help them make decisions in life and say, hey, look, you need to make a decision today, which side you stand on. And I'm not saying that you won't make mistakes. I want you to make mistakes. I want you to go out and touch the stove to know that it's hot. And that's the type of generation we're living in. Like, sometimes you have to go through those things and go through those failures in order to understand what true success means. And so I give them that opportunity to fail and not treat them as adults and say you have to be perfect, but give them that opportunity to fail. And it's been working really good. I have a lot of great relationships with young people, and I've mentored a lot of great kids to success. So it's just been a dream that I'm living every day. You know, I'm about to fly through the roof right now. You know, I'm about to fly through the roof.
Awesome. Recently recognized by the St. Louis American Foundation. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're starting to see the glory, but people don't fully know your story. You've had some low moments. You've had some successes. Talk about it. Encourage the people who may not be where you are, but they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay. Can I tell you a story real quick?
Please.
Okay,
That's
I like
why
to
we
tell
here.
stories.
That's
I'm a
why we
motivational
here.
speaker, y'all. So listen, a lot of people see like a lot of the success that I've had, and I get several different responses from that. Sometimes I get a person that says, I can never be that. I can never, you just got it all together. But I just look at that person and say, you know what? As a matter of fact, I fail more than anybody probably around me. Mm-hmm. Like, failure has been the soil for my tree to grow. Like, you have to have some dirt in your life. And the difference, though, about just failure, I don't just take failure and just say, have a pity party. I take that failure and I learn from it, and I use it as a real-time model to critique myself and say, hey, I messed up here, but how can I make this better? It's an indicator for room for improvement. But there's this story that I always share that has been a testament and a testimony for people that seen me on TV in my light, my glory years and all that. And there was a time I have a recording studio and you can't use profanity in my studio. I had a big old poster board on my wall that said no profanity. And it was like a lot of people came by and laughed at the vision. And I had some good runs in my studio. Like, people were coming in, bringing their kids in, they got it. And then there was a low moment that I didn't know about. This was the first low moment that I have, in everything that you do, there's up seasons and down seasons as far as financially. And in this particular season, I had a guy come by, and I hadn't had a customer in a while. It was like, I didn't have a customer in a long time. And to be just 100% transparent with you, I had a light bill that was due the same day. And if I didn't pay that light bill, I was going to be out of business. I wouldn't be able to get it back on. And this was I was a low moment. And so I had this guy, he come in my office and he yeah, what's going on? What's going on, sir? I'm like, hey, what's going on? Welcome to Street Dreams. My name's Koran Bolden. How can I help you today? He like, oh man, I just got paid. Hold on, what's this right here? It's a no profanity sign. I was ready to record right now. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. You can record here right now. I mean, I got my engineer in the back. We just don't use profanity. He said, oh man, all my stuff got cussing in it, bro. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So what are you saying? So he pulled out all his money in front of me and he said, hey, listen, there's nobody here right now. And I got some money. I really need to record this song. Just record me. That's for the little kids. Nobody will know. And so at that particular moment, I was tested and I was tempted to take the money. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Can I tell you the truth? I ain't gonna lie. I was like, go ahead, come on back to the back. Ain't nobody gonna know. And when I sat down at the seat and I heard all of the different lines that he was saying, and I'm not one of those people that judge people or anything like that. Some of my friends that I have that use a lot of profanity, they're some of the most honest, loving people that I know. So me putting up my recording studio sign that said no profanity had nothing to do with me judging people or weeding people out. I set up this studio so that I can give it to my son. And I don't want my son cussing. So I want to be able to get it to him clean. But people didn't understand the vision on that anyway.
It's a standard.
Yeah, it was a standard. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so I asked him, we came on in the back. I heard we went to the back. I heard what he was about to say, and my stomach just started boiling. I'm like, oh my God, the first customer. Like, I got to lower my standards, like, right now, because, you know, is this a blessing? Like, God, are you blessing me? Like, is this a blessing? And it's like, come on now. You know, the word is say that my sheep, like, they know my voice. Like, in the voice of a stranger, they will not follow. And so at that particular time, I followed that intuition. I went in the back. I gave myself a pep talk. I said, you know what, Koran? And you know right now, you know the type of standard that you're setting for young people all across the country. And if you take the money right now, it's going to be over for you, like as far as taking the money again and again and again. And I came back out. I said, look, sir, I said, I'm sorry to tell you. I gave myself that pep talk, right? I'm like, look, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm telling you, I got this vision. And I quoted my vision back to him. I'm like, listen, we got a recording studio that's going to travel all across the world. It's going to be the greatest revival you ever seen. Entrepreneurship, yada, 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 yada. Spit it back to him. The dude was just looking at me in amazement, put his money back in his pocket and was like almost in tears. Like, bro, I never heard nobody be that passionate and stand up for what they believed in like you have. You know what? I ain't going to lie. I wish I would have had something like this in my life when I was growing up. I didn't. And I think I'm going to try to go home and rewrite some stuff. But if not, man, I want to let you know that you've changed my life today. And I've never seen that man again to today's day. But I got ready to get back on the phone with my wife. And I'm just like, about to say, yo, babe, we've got to close down. The light's going to get cut off. And it's going to be a huge embarrassment because we talking all this stuff out in the community about no profanity. People waiting for us to close down. They said it would never work. And right when I was about to make that phone call, I had a customer come in and just walk in out the streets. I'm like, hey, how you doing? I was feeling real down. He said, yeah, man, I heard about you on TV and this, that, and the other. And I want to be able to get a package from you. And the package is for my son. And I got $2,000 to spend with you, and I'm ready to put the money down right now. Wow. And so, you know, 1 hour ago, I was thinking defeat. And then in the next hour for standing up for what I believed in, I had a victory. Mm-hmm. And just think what would have happened if I would have took that money. Maybe that customer wouldn't have come in, or maybe I would have just felt like so condemned that I sold my soul, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And I sold the dream that I had for my son. And so I say that to say this, is that anytime you have a dream and a vision, there's a temptation that's going to come along the way. Sometimes you may fail. Sometimes you may succeed. But what I do want to tell you is that the greater the story and the greater the glory, the greater the trials and tribulations that you're going to go through. And that's why I succeed, because I go through things such as that nobody knows about. And so I just want to share that story today. Like,
it's an awesome story. It's awesome. And two things I heard were decisions and courage.
Yep.
Right?
Back to the decision piece, right?
So as we talk about courage, you started this business while you were employed. You had to make a major decision. Talk about that.
Take me back. Take me back, somebody. So I had the record deal with Def Jam. I ended up losing that record deal, and I remember not growing up with my dad in the house, and I lost my brother to gun violence as well. And I remember I had the opportunity to go to Atlanta and go to New York and continuously chase my dream when I had a record deal. And along the way, I found out that I had a son on the way. Now, this is what's so significant about that, is that when I was growing up, my mom used to always tell me, hey, Koran, I can't change your past, but I can help you change your future. And I know how, I can't even imagine how it would feel not to have your dad in the house and to lose your brother. I can't help you with that, but I want you to make me one promise. And as long as you make this one promise, you will be successful no matter how big a house you have, car you have, what kind of job you have. But if you make sure that when you have a son that you take care of him and you break the cycle, that day you will be successful no matter how many degrees you get, no matter how much material gain that you get. And from that day, she made me make a promise. And when I found out that I had a son, I stayed here and I went back to work to show him that I was a man. I wanted to give him what I didn't have. And I went from a $150,000 record deal to making $7 an hour minimum wage, you know. And it was very embarrassing because my video was still playing on BET and VH1 and all that. And people was laughing at me. I had these Bentleys and cars, and I recorded my video down at the Roberts Brothers house, and Lamborghinis and Bentleys everywhere. And I just stayed true, and I had to be courageous. You know, I had to sit it out for a moment. But, you know, when God has a plan for you, and when you got that purpose calling for you, you might have to sit out for a season. And you like, why I got to sit out? Why do my friends go off and do this, that, and the other? But what I want to tell you is that when you really want to become a leader, you have to be able to withstand loneliness. Like, loneliness is associated closely with leadership. Like, you have to go through that testing in that moment. And that's one thing as human beings that we don't want to go through, is being lonely. It's like rejection. We have this sense to be able to go walk with people. But I said, you know what? I'm going to sit here and take care of my son. I went from $7 to $8 all the way up to $12, operating in excellence. And then my calling just kept calling me, like calling me. And it got to the point where I was ready to quit my job. And I was like, I'm going to quit my job. But once again, it's all in the timing of everything that you're doing. And I waited it out. And long story short, I wrote down that I needed $15,000 to open up this brand new studio in the mall. Didn't know where it was going to come from. I was behind on all my bills. I'm one paycheck away from losing it all. And I come into work one day and I keep speaking out every day. I'm going to get $15,000. And I came down to work one day and they were like, you know, they laying everybody off today. And I'm like, what? Like, what you mean they laying everybody off today? Like, they laying everybody off today. It's like, oh, man, but did you read down on your email? I'm like, what? What you mean? Read down on the email. I went down on the email and it read, Dear Koran Bolden, we have decided to lay you off, but since you've operated in excellence in everything that you've done, we have decided to send you on your way with a severance package in the amount of $15,000. And so that was my first encounter to understand the power of words. You can have that dream in your heart, but if you don't speak it out every day, it's not going to happen. What activates your dream is the word. When you believe it in your heart, your mind, your body, and soul, and then once you speak it out, that is the confirmation telling the world and the atmosphere that this has to happen. And when I spoke out that $15,000, it took me like 6 months, and I kept speaking it out every day, 1,000 words, and it showed up to my doorstep. And then I took that $15,000 and opened up my studio, and here we are today. Countless stories and, you know, news interviews and national coverage and all that type stuff. So it's
books.
Books.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the book.
The book is entitled Rock, Paper, Scissors, 3 Secrets to How Your Failures Can Make You Famous. And once again, I want to talk about that failure piece. A lot of times we think that failure is a one-time moment and it determines your life as a whole. But really, honestly, failure is the best thing that can ever happen to a young person, a millennial, or, you know, older generational person. It literally, every day I'm failing, every single day I'm trying stuff. I'm coming outside of my comfort zone. And so with the book, I wrote the book just for anybody out there, any authors out here. I feel like some authors, right? Can I just speak to the audience real quick? I feel like it's some authors out here right now, and you've been waiting all this time to write a book, and you like, I don't know where to start. I'm telling you right now, you just need to start. Like, don't try to figure everything out all the time. Be willing to fail. Even if you start and then you come back to it 3 months later, at least you started, at least you got something to build on. And so for all my authors out here, I'm going to drop a nugget real quick. It took me I had this vision for my book for about 3 years. I started on it a little bit, stopped, kept going and going, stopped and going. And it took me actually 4 months to write the book once I actually sat down and I committed myself to writing this book. Now, the book has opened up so much authors out there. I'm talking to authors. Like, you've been wondering, how can you walk away from your job? You may be wondering how you can bring extra income. People are looking for people that have failed that keep enduring. A bestseller only comes from somebody that has been through stuff. You can't just go out and teach head knowledge and think you're going to get a bestseller. A bestseller is associated with all the stuff that you've been through. You're going to connect with more people. And so what I want to do is I want to tell you that I never thought that I would have wrote a book. I wrote the book and I've sold over 1,200 books to today's date. And when you multiply that times $25, you can imagine the type of increase that has come in my life just from a book. But if I didn't have the book, I wouldn't have made that type of money. And so once again, I just had to take a little sidebar for my authors out there. There are a lot of people out here that really want to write a book. And I'm encouraging you right now that don't try to figure it out. Don't say, I ain't made it to where I want to be at yet. Don't worry about all that stuff. People really buy books based on relationships and the power and the passion that you talk about, the things that you're going through. So I encourage anybody to write a book that has that book, and I speak life over you and tell you that that book is going to be a New York Times bestseller. That book is going to change somebody's life. That book is going to bring financial increase in your life.
Amen.
Pass the plate around. Pass the plate around. But the name of the book is called Rock, Paper, Scissors, and there's 3 things that you need for going back to decision making. But when you're making a decision and anything, whether you want to write a book, want to walk away from your job, there's 3 things that you need. The first is you need a rock. Your rock means to have 100% belief and faith that the vision that you have on the inside of you will happen no matter what it looks like, no matter what your income, your finances look like. You believe 100% that this vision has to happen before you leave this earth. All right. And then number 2 is paper. You have to make sure you write it down. Do as much strategy and research, but don't get too caught up in that. Like, don't get so caught up in the numbers and the figures that you just discourage yourself. Like, just really put down a basic, simple plan to the point that it's easy to recite to others and others can read it very quickly. And then the third piece is the hardest piece for most entrepreneurs. Well, after you believe 100% you have your rock, and after you have your paper, you write it down, the next part that you have to do is pull out your scissors and cut away everything out of your life that doesn't line up with what you believe and wrote down. And so that means if you are a young person and you're going to, you say you want to go be in the NBA, why in the world are you playing football all the time? You're not putting your time, like, cut that stuff away. I'm not saying you can't be multi-talented and all that. You never know where your big break is coming from, but I'm saying you need to focus. And most entrepreneurs have about 50 ideas in their head. They don't know which one to start on, and they try to do all of them. And just start on the one. You start on the one, you'll generate the money from the one, and then you take the money that you made, the profits that you made, and you hire somebody else to do the rest of them for you. And so those are the type of concepts. And so whenever you're going through life, you want to ask yourself, do you have your rock, your paper, and your scissors? If you fail in life and you want to know how to assess where did you fail at, you either had a belief issue, a paper issue, you didn't write it down, or either you had a problem focusing. And so that's what the book is about. And so there's just these stories that I'm telling about how sometimes I had the rock and the paper, I didn't have the scissors, or I might have had paper and scissors and I didn't really believe. And like, if you really ask yourself, if you failed in life, you either didn't have your rock, your paper, or your scissors. And so that's where the concept of the book came from.
Awesome. So before I let you tell people how they can get the book and get in touch with you, you truly motivated us today, but what motivates you?
Well, honestly, I could give the cliche answer about,
Give us the real.
I'm going to give you the real answer, because I hear a lot of people, they be like, my kids and my family, and that's just given, What motivates me every day is I want to see something different. Like, I want to see, so this is my vision, this is my overall vision. I want to see St. Louis as a whole, like this young entrepreneurs movement where we have so many people out in the field living their dreams with books, speaking engagement, teaching tapes, movies, the arts, just people just living their dreams so much and inspiring our community so much, and that we take a percentage of our own money and we give back to our community. And it's like a self-sustaining school systems and businesses. And I just really want to see that. And I believe that can happen. I believe that there's a lot of people out here that want to know how to live their dream. And if everybody was living their dream, our world could be such a much more happy place. But I really want to see a young people's movement that if something like what happened in the Normandy School District happened where they're looking for $1 million and they got to vote, I want to just storm in the room and storm in that meeting, like, look,
slam that checkbook on the table.
Hey, yo. And I'm the type of person, just from my marketing and branding, right? This is like one of my things. I would have liked to just have like 1 million ones and just pour it everywhere, like for real, and just duffel bags and just come in there suited up and just pour the money everywhere and just hey, y'all match me. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of us waiting around. I'm tired of us just talking and going to these community meetings and what we gonna do and board meetings. Like, look, let's move. Like, I want to move like action. We need massive action. We can worry about how to figure it out later. Like, let's start somewhere. Let's start right now. And that's the type of community that I want to see. And I believe that this city will birth forth one of the greatest revivals. And it's not going to be, I don't want to say what it's not going to be, but it's going to be unorthodox. It's not going to be the same thing that we've always seen. Like, I'm a big man of faith. And so, you have those revivals where people laying hands or, they praying for you and, this, that, and other. I'm talking about organization, a group of people that are sharing like so much. Like, it's not about like a financial capital. It's about social capital. Like, we're not worried about more materialistic gain, but we are so much sharing with our community, and our community thrives so well that we come up with a new model for education and business growth and economics, and just seeing just a young people's movement that can make that happen. And I want to see that with my eyes. And so that's what wakes me up every morning. Of course, my kids and my family, they put a smile on my face. But like my mom said, I'm already successful with that. I don't have to go out and like, my kid, I'm already successful. I'm already giving my kids something that I did not have. So that's already accomplished. The thing that I wake up every day and what drives me is I want to see with my eyes a revival that the world has never seen, where we have our own money, we have our own resources, and we're not asking for no handouts from the government. Amen.
Yes.
Was that too big? Or what you think?
That was great and not cliche at all. So why don't you tell people how they can get in touch with you?
You can get in contact with me on social media. Everything is at Koran Bolden. So KoranBolden. So you can look me up on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And also if you want to buy my book or if you want to get more familiar with my brand and my organization, you can go to KoranBolden.com. Again, that's KoranBolden.com.
Well, thank you, Mr. Bolden. Thank you for letting us get in your business today.
All in my business, too.
All in it. And I'm going to get all in that book, too.
All right. Yeah. And I do have a book for you today, too, as well.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
Well, that's all the time we have for this segment of In Your Business. If you would like to be a guest on the show, send an email to iybRadioshow@yahoo.com. I'm your host, Reagan Johnson, and next time, maybe I'll get in your business.
In Your Business with Reagan Johnson, highlighting young professionals who are making things happen in their communities. The movers and shakers with bold passion, creative ideas, and big visions. If you have an idea, some feedback, or would like Reagan to get in your business, send an email to iybRadioshow@yahoo.com. That's iybRadioshow@yahoo.com. In Your Business is another positive production of RareGem Productions. Learn more at ONERAREGEM.com. Thanks for listening.